Ooh, y'all, we're getting controversial. All right, let them have it.
So what we're discussing is that in 2015 so far, food companies have given politicians over $100 million to allow them not to label where and what is in our food supply, in almost every aspect of our food supply and what they're selling you. Now, if I'm going to spend $100 million on something in less than a year so far, how much money do you think is really at stake for these companies that use foods from third world countries because it's cheaper, even if they use banned pesticides and antibiotics? So the reason I bring this up today is because the general consumer thinks, well, it's on the shelf. It must be okay, right? Well, they're selling it. It must not be bad for me. It's not true at all. And if it makes it on the shelf, that's because the politicians have bought off the big food industry has bought off the politicians and to pass laws that they can put whatever they want. So almost every big food company has pitched in this $100 million. General Mills, Kellogg's, Kraft, PepsiCo, Coca-Cola, Nestle, Ocean Spray, Campbell's, Land O'Lakes, Mars, Monsanto Seed. By the way, most people have never even heard of Monsanto Seed. I consider it the evil empire of the food industry.
Well, how do you really feel, Doc?
It's
Golly.
It is a multi-billion-dollar company who specializes in agrochemicals and genetically modified plants. So they're the ones that sort of create all of this stuff in a lab. We call them Frankenfoods.
So they have to look at a cucumber and go, how can we change it?
Yeah.
Right.
How can we make that where we can spray it with more chemicals?
All right.
So also pitching in was the Cattlemen's Association, the Pork Producers Association, Tyson Chicken, Hormel, and on and on and on. Almost every, this goes on in Washington all the time. Listen, they got $4.1 million to promote genetically modified salmon. So I call those Frankenfoods, which is like pieces of DNA pieced together to make a fish-like animal.
Yeah. And the reason for this is because it's cheaper. It's cheaper.
And like you can take a fish and genetically modify it so that it resists disease. So that you can take a fish and change its genetic structure and make it change color. You can make it grow ears. You can make it do anything that you want it to do by changing its DNA. And so that's sort of what's going on. They're easier.
So we
to
make
raise
a bigger fish.
Yeah.
With chemicals and which is genetically modified.
Correct.
And so it's bigger. You can sell it for more. It's cheaper to probably.
Right.
I'm trying to figure out in my head why people do this.
Okay, so I can take a regular salmon that's probably likely to catch a disease. I have to feed them more natural food so that they in their more natural environment. Or I can take that DNA structure and I can make it to where it grows bigger faster. It's more resistant to disease. It has less fat or whatever I want it to do. And then so I change its genetic structure to make it grow faster, bigger, stronger.
And you can, in other words, you can build it cheaper.
Right.
And sell it for more.
Right.
Because it's a bigger fish.
Exactly right.
And you grow them faster, so you can do that. You can put more on the shelf faster.
Right. I think I said it.
Okay.
I think I said 2 or 3 weeks ago on the show, if a chicken were a baby human by the time it's 6 months old would weigh 600 pounds. That's how fast chicken grow now, because of the genetic modification.
Wait a minute, Willis.
Yeah.
What
Remember,
did you just say?
I said that like 3 weeks ago on the show. So if babies grew as fast as baby chickens do now, a 6-month-old baby would weigh 600 pounds. That's how fast chickens grow from the time they're born.
I must not have been here.
You were
that
sleeping,
day.
I think.
Well, is that that's a fact?
That's a fact.
Because of all the crap that goes into a chicken?
Right. That's how fast they grow. Yeah, that's how fast chickens grow.
Unreal.
Deb,
are you listening to this?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. And a lot of their money that Monsanto, for one, makes comes from selling the seeds.
Yes.
So it's just going to grow exxponentially.
Right. They sell the seeds and they sell the chemicals to spray on the seeds. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's a
so
multi-billion.
it's not just the food.
Right. Exactly.
How do you work at that place, or if you're the CEO of that company, how do you go home to your family?
Well, they don't believe it's harmful.
Right. No, not at all. They think it's harmless.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
We disagree on that point.
Oh, so they serve that on their table
Probably.
to their families.
I'd be interested to know
Okay.
for sure what they actually serve at their own home.
Yeah, me
Or
too.
do they put out a memo, an internal memo to their families? Don't eat anything we're involved in.
So, the thing is, we just need to know. Listen, if people want to eat whatever they want to eat, that's their business. But the truth is, we need to know where it came from, how it was raised, and what drugs it was given. By the way, did you know that something like 80% of the antibiotics used in America goes into our food supply, not in medicine? So,
That's mind-blowing.
So 80% of the antibiotics aren't medicine. It goes into food for
But
animals.
we can't do anything about that, can we? We can't stop people from
You
doing
can't.
that, companies from doing that.
You can't, and it's way worse in countries like China
So all
and
we
Thailand.
can do is educate ourselves.
That's why I'm doing this. Yeah, is to educate people on pay attention to what you're eating.
But then if the food industry decides to not put this on the label, we can't even educate ourselves.
That's why we need to all advocate for better food labeling. Those of us that actually read labels, we want to know the truth. For 80% of the general public out there, they don't even read the labels anyway. They don't care where something comes from. If they pick up shrimp is shrimp. If it's from China, big deal. But those of us that really want to know what we're eating should be really irritated by this. And, since our government has like a 10% approval rating, I think most people are pretty irritated with the government.
Yeah, oh yeah. Don't get me started.
Yeah, but some stores will label things truthfully regardless of if the law says they don't have to. And if you buy organic, you don't have to worry about it. It will all be labeled and it'll all be raised clean. So, you can go to some of these natural stores and it will be labeled even if the law says they don't have to. This other stuff is you're going to either find at the big box stores or, just what 90% of the general public buys. But, if you go to these more natural stores where everything's labeled, everything tells you where it came from and what's in it, all natural ingredients and all that, definitely better health for your family.
Doc, I learned early on as a little boy that sex sells, sex and money make the world go round. Because it's two things that human beings crave. And you just proved that with the big money politics that you just brought up.
Yeah. One of the problems with Washington is, it's not so much always what's better for the American people. It's who gave me the most money. That's what I'm going to vote for.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's especially true. In the food industry. People don't realize this all goes on in the background. They walk down the grocery store aisle and they just buy whatever looks good on the front of the package.
Sure.
And they don't ever really think of all the manipulation behind the scenes to get you to pick up that item actually is. And so I wanted to bring that out today.
Thank you for that.
I just wanted to let people know you're being manipulated and that pay attention to these things and what you eat matters. And just like what gas you put in your car matters. And it's very, very important that you pay attention to what you eat and try to always cut down chemicals. Eat more natural, eat the closer it can get to what it actually is supposed to be is the better. All right. The less processed it is, it's always going to be better for you.
It's kind of sad though, Doc. Today your thing was just kind of sad.
I didn't want to be a bummer today. I really didn't.
Kind of sad, Doc.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Kind of down now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we need to be alert.
Yeah, you do. But listen,
you had to tell us.
Yeah, play a happy song and you'll be able to bounce right back today.
With this new system, I'm not sure I know how, but I'll try.
Of course, when I came in, you were pretty sad. You were banging on your iPhone, cussing at your iPhone whenever I came in here this morning. So I think you were pretty sad before I walked in.
Every computer that I own and work with today has given me problems.
Yeah.
Every one of them.
Yeah, so he's looking at his phone, cussing at his phone as I walked in the door this morning.
So I look up for a minute to say, hi, Doc, and
Hi,
went
Doc.
right back to
banging on the
banging
phone.
on the phone. All right. Thank you, Doc.
All right, thanks,
Wellness
guys.
Wednesday, Bryant Wellness Institutes of Acadiana. It's Dr. Kevin.